Hello grade 2s and welcome to this week's English lesson. This week we're going to be covering so many skills, so I want you to concentrate and listen very carefully. First, we are going to read a story. We're then going to do some sight word practice and even a memory sentence. Let's get started. Before we start our story, let's talk about some icky, tricky words that we might find. Blaring, a very loud sound. Catapult, to move or spring up suddenly, quickly or forcibly. Hesitating, to pause before doing something because of doubt or nervousness. Unconscious is when a person suddenly becomes unable to respond and appears to be asleep. Petition. A petition is a request to change something. Paramedics. People who work on an ambulance. Darted. To move very quickly or run. Let's read the story. Children's Crossing. Lizzie lived next to a busy road. She would often sit outside and watch the activities of the street. Full taxis carried people to work. Children passed on their way to school, and runners jogged past in the evenings. Lizzie also liked to watch the insects as they crawled and flew around the yard. Sometimes Lizzie nibbled on the sour flowers that grew under the tap at the back of her house. One day, Lizzie saw two girls on the other side of the road. They wanted to cross and were holding hands for safety. Mama always told Lizzie, "Before you cross any road, look left, look right, look left again. Check it's safe to go." Finally, there was a gap between the cars. The one girl sprinted across, leaving the other who was hesitating. "Come on, Musa, quickly, before the next car," shouted the girl who had crossed. Musa jumped forward without checking. Lizzie watched with big eyes as the blaring of a car hooter reached her ears. Doof! The car catapulted Musa into the air. Lizzie's eyes got even bigger and her jaw dropped. She darted into the house. "Mama! Mama! A girl has been bumped by a car. She's lying outside of our yard and she's not moving," cried Lizzie. Mama rushed outside. She saw Musa and quickly called an ambulance. People began to gather around Musa, who lay unconscious. Soon, the sound of an ambulance siren filled the air. Wee-woo, wee-woo. The worried paramedics placed Musa carefully on a stretcher and took her to hospital. After Musa's accident, the local schools introduced road safety lessons for parents and children. The community petitioned for a pedestrian crossing so that no more children would be hurt. That was such a lovely story and very sad, but it had a good ending. Let's answer the questions. What did Mama always tell Lizzie? Can you remember? Look before you cross the road. Well done. Where were the two girls standing? On the other side of the road. The two girls wanted to A. Have some fun, B. Cross the road, or C. Eat ice cream. B. Cross the road. Where did Musa land? A. In the road, B. On the car, or C. On the sidewalk? C. On the sidewalk. Who called the ambulance? A. Lizzie, B. Lizzie's mother, or C. the neighbor? It was B. Lizzie's mother. Well done. Let's look at this week's sight words. First, say it with me. First, first, first. Wash. Say it with me. Wash, wash, wash. Your. Say it with me. Your, your. Before. Say it with me. Before, before, before. You. Say it with me. You. Now that you know the sight words, let's look at this week's memory sentence. First, wash your hands before you eat. Let's read it together. First, wash your hands before you eat. If teacher had to take away a few words, would you remember what stood there? Let's have a look. First, wash your before you Can you remember the words? Well done, guys.